and welcome. I'm John, and this is 40K Killteam. Hi and welcome. I'm John, and this is 40K Killteam. Guys, welcome back. For everyone that's new, this is a terrain build. I try to do one every 7 to 10 days. Sometimes it works out as 2 weeks. You know, I try and do it as best as I can. I do it as cheap as possible. I try and do it so that you guys can follow along and do it as well, or do something really similar from easy materials. Most of it's scrap, most of it's be rubbish bits that you just normally throw away. The aim is if you save money by building this stuff, or using the stuff that I show you and do something similar, you're saving money, which means you've got more money to spend on models, rules, box sets, paints, etc. So all my regulars here, guys, I would love, thank you very much. I'll see you soon, guys. So what am I building today? In this video, I want to try and do as many pieces possible of Demon World-esque terrain. I have loads of bits of lead models left over, talking screamer towers, horror arms, you know, all those sort of things. I want to try and incorporate them as much as I can into this terrain. I say that now, when I come to look for them, I may not find them, as is always the way. But for now, I'm just going to try and work away what I can and try to do as much as I can, because I'm working on a demon army and I want to have them ready for the next battle report and use some of the new demon terrain that I make today in this video on the table. Then so what I've done, what I've got so far and what I've done, I have a few ideas, you know, flying around my head. One thing I've done here, I've got a block of polystyrene, okay. I believe it's 25mm thick, I believe. It's an off-cut piece. I've just cut it down the middle. Now what I've done is I've cut a piece of foam board. See, it's much bigger, but it doesn't matter. What I'm going to do with this, I'm going to take a blade. First of all, I'm going to take my finger. I'm going to run my finger along. Now what I'm doing when I do that is I'm sanding the polystyrene with my finger. What you're doing is taking all the loose parts off. See, like these wispy bits on top there, just run it over top, get rid of them. Yeah. And this side, and just do it all sides on both pieces. Don't use sandpaper, because if you start using sandpaper, you're going to start, you know, breathing all the dust and that crap. So if you just use your finger, it's just going to do it a lot easier. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pen and I'm going to draw a rough shape along the edge here. Okay, I don't want to take the corner, but I want to take it up as close to the corner as possible. And I'll do that, then I'm going to come back to you. If the lights go weird, there's a man from the ESB electric company just drove into the yard. There's something wrong with one of the power lines close by, so I was experiencing a bit of lighting going malfunctioning on me, but I thought maybe it was me, but it's not. I just filmed the Weekly Wednesday, and that's the same problem with the light. But anyway, so I drew what I wanted to draw on here, and I beveled it out with my blade. So now we've got this rough looking. Yeah, beveled out a little bit. That's how it's going to sit like that. Okay. The next thing to do again is just to give it a little sand down with your finger. It doesn't have to look perfect. Okay, we just have to get the rough shape that we want. Again, run down. Now the problem I have now, my base is miles too big, so I need to trim a bit of this off. But as you can see, as I was cutting it, it's all gone a bit bandy on me, so I need to just trim a little bit off the top here and get rid of this straight edge. And I'll come back and I'll bevel the edges as well of the terrain piece, of the base. I'll come back to you when I've done that. Right, so I've done that. Okay, now there's a few little bits here I'm not happy with, so what I'm going to do is just go around my finger, just try and tidy it up a little bit. So this little bit here, let's try and give that a little, get rid of any little flappy bits or any bits that are just could be a problem later on. We're ready to go. So what I need to do now, here we are. This is what we're going to have so far. What I need to do is I need to get this lovely material, tin foil, and I need to really hot glue these down first to the base, the 2 bits polystyrene. Then I need to get tin foil and roll it up like this, but wrap it around. Okay, this is going to seal the whole bit, because let me show you what I mean. The way this is at the moment, there's a little gap here. Now I could use filler on that. I don't really want to, because filler will come into it afterwards. So what I'm going to do is use this tin foil to go around it and wrap around it, just to give me some texture and get rid of those gaps. So when I do put filler onto it, it's going to just make it as one piece. So I'm going to hot glue those 2 bits down. I'm going to wrap the cling film around the tin foil around it and hot glue that down as well. Now, when I'm doing that, this is a metal, even though it's a thin metal, it's still a metal, so it will hold the heat. So be careful if you're doing that. And then I'll come back to you at that stage, ready for the next insane little detail. See you in a minute, guys. Right, so that's all done. I filler mixed it as well. This filler mix is still wet. Now what I'm going to do, I'll bring you down and show you some close up anyway. I need some cocktail sticks. The plan is to take a cocktail stick, to snip it in half, okay, so each pointy end goes into the polystyrene, but I want to do it at an angle so they come up like a mouth. Now, I was contemplating whether to use some 1mm galvanized rod, this stuff, yeah, because I can wire it whichever way I want, and then I can tin foil it and make it come up like a, and I still might do that on another piece, I'm not sure. But now when they're the cocktail sticks, so if it doesn't look like a mouth coming out the ground, then it looks like a pit with spikes coming out, you know, that's what it looks like. You know, I apologise, but the other piece that I was looking at and thinking about doing, I've descaled that down. I'll bring you down and show you that as well, but I have descaled it down. Nothing's glued on the second piece, of just some ideas. I'm just seeing a bit of filler come just soaking into the foil there. I'll have to redo that. Anyway, I'll bring you down and show you some pretty pictures, guys. Right, when I say pretty pictures, it's not really that pretty yet. But there's going to be the mouth there. I'm going to put the cocktail sticks into there to make it look like teeth. Now that's what I was just talking about there, look. So I need to get back a bit of filler back onto that. But this is where I've decided to scale down. This piece was originally going to be on this, but I said that's too big. This is a lot better and a lot easier. The plan here is to have some chains coming off for these posts into the middle and have a body hanging. That's the plan. Not sure what I'm going to do in the pit yet. Might just, I don't know, fill it with, spray it and then paint it green, and then maybe put some sort of liquid in there to maybe give it like a poisonous look. I'm not sure yet, but that's the initial plan with this first of all. But I'm going to crack on with this, and I'll come back and show you some pretty pictures of that in a second. Yeah, it doesn't actually look like mouth at all. Just looks like a cursed pit, but we're going to play this as impassable terrain, so it's a good line of sight blocker, and you have to move around it and all that sort of stuff. So it's still a nice piece to have, nice easy piece to make and have. So whilst that filler's, you see, it's still shiny and wet, so once that's dried, then I'll come back and start painting that, base coating that and everything else. But for now, I'm going to move on to this. I'm going to trim these bits up a bit first. Now some people are going to say, how do I get this amazing shape? What this is expanding foam, and you get a toilet roll card insert. You put a piece of grease-proof paper down, you put it on top, and you give it a squirt quarter of the way up with expanding foam. You do as many as you want. they'll fall over, but the expanded foam will expand outwards and you'll end up with this sort of shape. Then all you do is peel the cardboard off. You can see there's still cardboard there, look. And then just, you have this shape. Now it's great for making mushrooms and everything else, as I've done videos on that before. But you can easily turn these into plinths for statues and stuff like that, which again, I've done the video of that before. So if you want to see that, go check them out, guys. But I'm going to hot glue these, or trim these up first, and then hot glue these down to the base, and hot glue this to the base, and then start rooting out some pieces of chain and stuff like that. I might actually bring them closer like this, only because then I'm not having to panic about the size of chain that I need, and also gives me space at the edge here to run some filler along the edge, so it seals them to the base. But I'm going to crack on with that, and I'll come back to you when that's done. So that's hot glued. Okay, it's all hot glued down. So I actually think I came a bit too close here, but it's not the end of the world. This means I can actually have a person there with the chain hanging off them pretty nicely. So I have to find the right person, right model to use for it. The next thing to do with this would be to filler mix it all down. So when I glue the plastic on, the plastic chains, because I'm going to use a Marauder Warriors chain for the flowers from the Chaos Warrior box, or the Age of Sigmar Slaves of Darkness box, to use that to glue to the person. But I need to find the right person to glue on it. But I want to do is filler mix these first, and the base and all that, so that when I glue the person on, I can use super glue to glue them straight onto the filler. But come back to you when I've started when I got all the pieces together, and I'll show you the pieces before I glue them. Then I'll give them a clean down and glue them together, and we'll go from there. Well, this one didn't quite come out the way I wanted it, because the chains from the Marauder Warrior kit are not that big, so they weren't. There's no way I could draw it across, so I had to put a 1mm wire through there, and then just hot glue them to the wire. Now there is a few wispy bits. I don't know if you can see that on camera, of hot glue. I'm going to paint them red to make them look like bits of blood just, you know, dripping away rails. And also, when I was putting the rods in, I pulled this off. So you see the fresh glue there. I pushed it off. This one as well. It's not the end of the world, so I just hot glued it down, gave it a quick, once it dried, gave it a quick little spray down with a black spray. But there's where that one's at. This one's had a base coat of burnt umber, ready for a dry brush now, and that one will be done. But, yeah, so I'm going to get some burnt umber on this and some painter's grey on their stonework, and move on to doing the third piece. Right, so I've done some painting work on those two pieces. I'll give you a quick glimpse. Here's the first one. So what I've done is undercoated black. This is some burnt umber on the base here, and this is some of the painter's grey. It looks like a black, but as I a light grey or cream colour to it, it really pops the stone. Again, the other pieces had a burnt umber base coat. Now I was going to be adding a third piece to this little set, and I started working away, yeah, this piece of foam board, and just drew a nice cow star on there. But then I looked at what I was going to do with this, and I'm going to be adding bricks to it. So I said to myself, I'm not going to have time to do the bricks and paint it and do this and really elaborate. So I'm going to leave this one to one side for now. That's going to be for another video. I'm going to finish off those two and just put them together and present as a video. I was actually going for a demon-esque type terrain. I feel that I failed that. I've got more of a chaos, space marine type. You know, it is chaos, but more chaos sort of cultist type terrain, which, you know, is still chaos. It's still great. It looks great. It's going to be great on tabletop. So I need to finish those off, and then go on to it's just with full-time work. with little one as well. It's taken longer to get to this stage than it should be. And I think I covered this on a weekly Wednesday where I've got an hour in the afternoon to do a little bit here, but to try and make a video with models, and then, you know, next day the same again. Or I just focus on this and then not produce a model video. So anyway, that's where I'm at. So all I'm going to do now, add some silver to the chains and any metallic pieces. I'm going to dry brush it. But what I'm going to do in here, okay, I'm going to fill it with some PVA glue. And the PVA glue that I have is this lovely stuff. This is Go Create. Yeah, it's exclusively for supermarket Tesco's, but as you can see, it's clear. It's proper clear PVA glue, and it flows like water. Normally PVA glue flows really slowly, but this flows really, make that on the camera or not, so literally just flows so like water. So the plan is to give that a dry brush and I put some of that in the centerpiece. I've already given it some Mephiston red, the airbrush paint, in the middle there, just to make it really dark, like make it like a really red and bloody. So when I add that, hopefully as it dries, it dries clear anyway, but it'll dry, give me a nice like water effect without having to get resin and everything else. So I'm going to come back to you when that's done. I'll take this opportunity, if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you're just looking at it for the first time, hit the subscribe button, turn your notifications on so you don't miss nothing. This is a terrain video, but I do weekly Wednesday, it's a weekly Wednesday Q&A. I do let's build videos where I take a model kit and put it together and show you guys how to do it. If there's any points of concern on the sprue or on the model, I'll let you know. If there's any horrible casting lines or mold lines or anything like that, again, I'll let you know. If you struggle with instructions and dyslexia and stuff like that, this is a visual aid for you. Even if you don't, it's still a visual aid. If you're thinking about a new army but you're not sure about how difficult models are to put together, or you know, like that, again, this is for you to look at and go, actually, yeah, I like that nice and easy. I think I have some of that. I also do painting videos, but at the moment it's just a Monday painting video. So on the weekly Wednesday, you guys will vote on a host of models, which one you want me to paint, and then the following Monday I'll do that in the painting video, paint that up, and you know, for you guys to look at whilst you paint your own models, or just sit there and look at when you're on the bus or wherever you are. So hit those buttons for me, guys. I'm going to dry brush these and sort these out. If you have any questions about dry brushing or anything like that, chuck them below, and you know, I'll show you or we'll talk about it. Not a problem. Put the silver on, dry brush those, and then PVA, and then I should bring them, present them to you. Nice and easy. What I'll do is when I put the PVA in, I will bring it to you down and show you, and then it might take a day or two for the PVA to cure properly, and then I'll come back to you again and show you what it looks like when it's cured. So see you in a minute, guys. Here we are. It's the first one. I don't know if to paint these silver. I think I might just do that, just to make them really pop off and stand out even more. Here we have. I still have to do the silver on. Oops. So I have to do silver on the chains, but that has the liquid in there. There's the PVA glue. It looks horrific. Not in a bad way, but for me, it looks like it's a pool of some sort of red goo, and no one knows what it is. Yeah, I need to do the silver on those chains, because I just forgot about that until just started looking at it on camera. But I'm going to do them off camera to bring you some pretty pictures. But I just want to show you this. I'll probably come back and show you. I will come back and show you when it's dry. So there'll be some more pictures after this. But hit the buttons for me, guys, and I'll see you next time. You can already see there's a nice little shine to it. That looks absolutely fantastic. And it's crazy because this bottle, yeah, is only €4.50 for a litre. And that's the effect it has. Hopefully it dries nice. But what I do is I'm going to edit this video and chuck it up for you guys. But when it's dry, I'll give you on the weekly Wednesday, probably just give you a little sneaky peeky of it on the weekly Wednesday. Just absolutely fantastic. Anyway, I'll see you next time, and hopefully this dries perfectly as well. And then, yeah, we'll find a nice easy way instead of resin. So anyway, guys, see you next time.